When people say money can't buy happiness, they've never been where we've been. When you spent years scraping by, happiness starts looking a lot like groceries covered and rent paid on time. And that's just sort of the beginning. Because for people like us, people who've come up the slow, hard way, who didn't start early, money buys a lot more than things. It buys choice, it buys time, it buys a chance to finally build something that feels like our own. And that is happiness. My name is Paudie Kelly. I'm a financial consultant and an economics professor. And for the first half of my life, I struggled with money. But for the second half, I sort of figured out how it works. So in this video, I'm going to show you why happiness starts with first ending struggle, while real happiness begins after survival, and why money can buy happiness if you let it. So why happiness first starts with ending struggle. The truth is, it's okay to want money. It's okay to believe that it will change your life. It's okay to believe that it will make you happier, because for those of us who've gone without, it does. I grew up in Ireland. We were relatively poor, and my parents didn't find it easy to pay for just the simplest of bills. And so money became a very strong motivation for me from a young age. Even from about 12 years of age, my brother and I had jobs. And so when I turned 18, I moved to London with not really a pot to piss in. I kind of thought, well, if I want more money, I should probably try to figure out how money works. So through personal loans and grants and working construction at nights, I finally graduated with a degree in finance. Those were slow, hard years. And just when I thought I was sort of getting by, the 2008 financial crisis hit. And I thought, yeah, now I've lost everything I've worked hard for. But the point is that for the first half of my life, money didn't come easy, and it definitely didn't come early. So believe me when I tell you that wanting money when you haven't had enough of it isn't greed, it's survival. A lot of the time, people who say money can't buy happiness have never been in a place where every dollar counts, where the constant struggle to get by just steals their peace. When you've been there, you understand that a big part of happiness is just removing that struggle. This is why real happiness only begins after survival. When I lived with not enough, of course I wanted more. Of course I believed it would make things better. And you know what? I wasn't wrong. Maybe it's the same for you, but when I was in survival mode, scraping to get by, my focus narrowed. All my energy went on my immediate needs, paying groceries, paying rent, just getting through the week. There was no room for bigger questions because survival demanded all of my attention. But once I made a bit of money, once I was able to stop scrambling and just stay afloat, something changed. I started to have mental and emotional space to breathe. I began to ask myself questions that I couldn't even dream of asking before. What truly matters to me? What life do I want to build? What meaning is there beyond just getting by? It's in that space, the space money can create, where real growth and happiness begins. Where you can move from surviving to choosing, from reacting to planning, from existing to living. Do you know what I mean? That's why wanting money isn't shallow or selfish. It's the doorway out of the fight for mere survival, right? And into something that matters, something that you can build that's truly your own. Here's how money can buy happiness if you just let it. Money can be a tool to buy luxury or meaning, and the choice really is ours. So let me give you an example of this from behavioral economics. Say you have a $3,000 phone. It works fine, it's practical, it meets your needs, but then your birthday comes along and you decide to treat yourself. So you splurge on a new phone, something flashy, $1,000. You love it, it feels like a reward, a step up. You know it's a want, not a need, but you know what? It makes you happy. Then one day the phone gets stolen. Now you have a choice to make. Do you replace it with the $300 phone you had before, or do you buy another $1,000 phone like the one you lost? Most people will go for the $1,000 phone. Why? Because when you've had that luxury, going back just feels like a step down. It feels like losing something important. What was once a want now becomes a need. And here's the catch. Even though that $1,000 phone doesn't really add a whole lot of meaning to your life, you buy it. Instead of going back to that simpler phone of $300 and using that $700 for something more meaningful, like building experiences or easing financial stress, yeah, you buy the expensive phone. Most people end up buying luxury again and again, chasing that next upgrade. And that's exactly why people believe that money can't buy happiness. It's because there's another need of luxury just around the corner. Behavioral economics calls this hedonic adaptation. It means that we quickly get used to new things, even expensive ones, and the happiness they bring fades fast. So the joy from that $1,000 phone, yeah, it's temporary, and soon enough you'll want something else to fill that gap. This is what using money to create luxury in your life looks like. But there is another way. You can use money to create meaning in your life, to build a life that's truly your own, to self-actualize. This is real happiness. I started working when I was 12 years old, and I haven't always had a lot of money, but every time I've had money, I've used it to create meaning in my life. Maybe it's the same for you, but I actually don't like buying a lot of stuff. There's nothing I really want to buy. but I love building memories. I think life should be adventurous. So I spend a lot of my money on skiing, traveling, kite surfing, doing things that I find exhilarating, things that bring me a lot of happiness and meaning. I also spend my money on learning and improving myself. And what always seemed like sort of individual purchases have now sort of come together to just create my life and create the person who I am. Ultimately, it comes down to intentional spending and asking yourself this question before every purchase. Is this purchase lightening my burden or expanding my life? Most people never stop to think, but if you ask yourself that, you'll stop spending out of habit and start spending with purpose. And that's exactly how money buys happiness.